just run in that fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Was it just Cavs defense? Was it? I know a turnover obviously led to one of the buckets.
Yeah, I mean, their defense picked up. They put pressure on us and kept us from getting into any kind of flow on offense. And they converted a bunch of our turnovers. I mean, the turnovers were pretty close, but they were +9. And the ones that happened in the fourth, like that just gave them a lot of momentum. But I thought our guys were, every time we needed to get a few stops, when Donovan got going, we blitzed him a couple of times. That helped us. We just stayed the course as best we could, and then we got to the fourth, and we just didn't have enough to withstand their defensive pressure. And they kept us on our heels in the fourth, and we had a few turnovers and a few late clock situations that put us in mud.
Look at just the start of the game, the way you guys started, and they went on, I think, I want to say 15-0 run or something like that. Just those stretches of between the fourth quarter and that, how much did that bear?
I'm sure it did. I mean, we scored 16 points in the first 6 minutes of the game, then we couldn't score much after that. Those are, tough moments when you're lacking the depth you need to just be able to get a bucket so you can set your defense. But they're a really good team, and when they needed to turn it up, they did, especially in the fourth.
You had Dwayne Washington, obviously. He wanted to be himself, but you also wanted to run the team. How do you feel like?
I think he's, with where we are, he's doing a good job. There are times where he gets himself in a little bit of trouble deep in the paint. He had a couple of turnovers that, he could have avoided, but I don't want him playing fearful or worrying about making mistakes, even though you want him to have some balance. But we needed his scoring tonight. I mean, I was about to take him out of the game in the second with about 3 minutes to go, and he hit some buckets that helped us get some momentum going into halftime. So I'm proud of his heart. I'm proud of the way he's playing. I mean, this summer you would have never pegged him to be playing this type of a role for us in January, and he hasn't backed off at all. Yeah, we think so. I don't know if he stepped on somebody's foot or if he just turned it, but we think he turned it a little bit.
Was there an emphasis tonight on playing with a little bit more pace and intensity?
Yeah.
It felt like you guys
Yeah, I thought it generated a lot of shots for us. We didn't, generate the threes like we wanted, but we had more shots than them. That's something that we like to look at. How many more possessions are we getting? But, yeah, I thought McHale and Landry were playing with great pace coming off DHOs and playing off of each other when we hit the 5. And early in the game, it was really good for us. And then I thought those guys got a bit tired. I mean, McHale played 38 minutes, chasing two of the best guards in the league. Like that's hard. So he deserves a lot of credit for just hanging in there tonight.
Going back to Washington, since he's come back from that muscle strain, with the exception of one game, he's been putting up double digits in scoring. But what have you seen from him, just from what you've seen in practice and stuff, that's allowed him to come back from an injury and have so much success, just behind the scenes, the kind of work he puts in?
Well, you just said it. He works. When guys are not playing, the ability to rehab and work on your game is a premium. He's a diligent worker. I noticed that about him this summer. If you don't work, you can't step in the game, an NBA game, and put up those kinds of numbers. So he's always been, at least from my experience with him, a diligent worker. Now he's learning how to manage situations and run that point guard position with other scorers on the floor.
Monty, to your point on pace, people hear pace and they think of Nash running up and down.
Yeah.
You're talking about the pace within the action. So
Yeah.
how much does that directly correlate with your guys' success when you have that pace?
We have to live off the community when you have so many guys out, and for us, the community has to play in 0.5, paint to grade, all the stuff we talk about. But for me, it's like you got to get into a good team's legs, and the way that you do that is run them around a little bit. And I thought, again, McHale and D. Lee and Landry did a really good job of flying around screens. I thought Dario help those guys. He had a bigger guy on him, so he was setting some screens, and we had a lot of downhill opportunities. We just couldn't finish all of them at the basket. D-Lee got there a few times tonight, but they're so doggone big, man. You can't finish around those guys. So we have to add the purpose to the paint to great and pace to be able to find guys on the outside.
Coach, you talked about how, guys out of their roles and looking at this team, 20 and 21 is not what you would be thinking at the midway point of the year. Where are you feeling, or how are you feeling about the group right now at this point?
Well, I think anytime you've been through what this team has been through, I mean, we had such a good start, and then the last 21 games or so, it's been one hit in the mouth after another. So naturally, you're going to be, stressed and emotionally challenged. But as I tell the guys all the time, man, nobody's digging ditches, going off to war or anything like that. It's basketball. And if this is the toughest thing you have to deal with, consider yourself blessed, We're going to continue to do what we do. Our objective is to try to win games and develop, and it doesn't matter who is in your locker room. That's got to be your mentality every day. And it can affect you the day of the game. But once you wake up the next day, you realize you get to be in the NBA, right? You get to do the things that we do. And I think that gives our guys a chance to have a good spirit as we approach the next team. So, yeah, it's deflating. I think it was a 1-point game. Going into the fourth, you're like, okay, we're at home. A couple things go our way, we could turn this thing and get a win. And then when it doesn't, I mean, you'd be crazy to try to say that you're not upset about that. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Coach,